Let's talk about Fredrik's latest video. You know why? Because I knew it. I knew it. I knew it. I knew it. Now, I want to take a minute to talk about my video that I put up yesterday, because for 2 days I had this need to post about the sexes and gender and stuff like that. Now, I talked about it in a different way, but it still kind of touched on some of the stuff that he, like the gender roles and the programming and all this stuff, right? And how we think women are supposed to act and, wear makeup and all this stuff. And I mean, look, I'm wearing a very masculine shirt. Actually, I'm very, very masculine and feminine. So and MTV is a big representation of a lot. All right. But I digress. So now I cannot unsee it. I get back. I'm going in between houses today. I'm back here with Augie, and I left the TV on, so they leave the TV on for him, and I had it on CNN. And when I got back, there's a news person on. She looks like a dude. She's got the thick, manly neck and very manly facial features. And I was like, oh, I can't unsee this now. I cannot unsee this. And my source self confirms everything he said. Now, look at Sigourney Weaver from Aliens, and other movies. Brooke Shields. What really stands out for me is because, if you think about the fashion industry and models and things like that, and now you overlay everything Fredrik said, now how does it look, right? Because I can remember several years ago, it's been going on for a while. I mean, it's always been going on, but more and more designers like Gucci and things like that. If you looked at some of their fashion, their runways, it was very, very gay, very gay. I mean, it's the whole industry is very gay. There's no question. And let me preface this that I have no problems with people that are gay, straight, bi, trans. I don't have a problem with people like that. What I have a problem with is people shoving it down our throats. Now, having said that, I didn't know how prolific it was in entertainment. Did not realize how prolific it was, because some people are very passing. Okay, but I really just whatever. It's probably because when I was younger, that's when culture clubs started to come out. So we were kind of already. It was already being put in our faces in a blatant drag, we're going to play with gender kind of way. All right, so I'm getting off topic here. But if you look at the way the models look, you look at what is considered the ideal, and he's talking about the angular features. And if you look at every woman that is considered a beauty, a hot, gorgeous woman, they all have these very angular, the angular jaw. Look at Brooke Shields. Okay? She's not soft. She's angular. Look at Giselle Bundchen. Okay? Or Gisele. Different people like that. Look at them. All right? Sigourney Weaver is a dude. It's a dude. Okay? And now I can't unsee this. I cannot unsee this. Now, I'm going to bring up what I used to do in the past again, and I'm always going to preface this because anytime that I bring this up, it is not an invitation for any male source player to ever contact me about this, ever. You can't reach me anyway, okay? Because I just want people to understand, if I ever do talk to you and you're a man and you for 1 second bring up anything that I'm talking about that I did in my past, I'm going to block you, okay? It's not an invitation for you to have conversation with me about your sexual needs or anything. So now that I got that out of the way, I was a phone actress I was a phone actress for just about two decades, actually, in all reality, 2 decades. 20 years of my life, I was a phone actress. So to say that this is my wheelhouse is an understatement. And more importantly, my prime customers were men who wanted to be feminized, sissified, humiliated. They had this whole feminization kink, whatever. Now it's more, like it's so obvious. And what I have noticed over the last few years since I stopped doing it, but even when I was doing it, kind of towards the end, like within like a few years before Judy's channel came up in my peripheral or anything like that, I would often think to myself, like, seeing how much regular dudes on the internet were starting to get twisted and demented and perverted with their sexual needs, started to really make me like question how much I contributed to men being feminized. But now I see that overall this was the whole agenda the whole time, right? So I mean, I could tell you a lot of things. The other thing that I've been thinking about lately is that the red zone is the upside down. The red zone is the upside down, and it makes sense because everything that Fredrik has mentioned in his video about them being satanic, them perverting and inverting everything is, is the goal. It's the goal. Okay. Right. They want to invert everything. That's why. So all this trans stuff, the transhuman, they're really shoving it down our throats in a big way. No pun intended. Okay. So I noticed it, and that's when I was like, yo, I don't know how much I'm contributing to men's mental illnesses, because that's the way I see it. It's a mental illness. Anybody that is having an identity crisis, I don't see that it's an actual thing. I see it that they're mental. they're effed up in the head, right? And they're trying to mangle their body to be something they want to be. So I went down the rabbit hole on that channel that he shared. You could go down a long rabbit hole with that, but man, oh man, oh man, I knew it. I knew like this blatant feminization of men was just something else. I just knew it. Okay. It's funny. It's really funny. Had I not done this for my whole life, well, not my whole life, but for most of my adult life, had I not done that, I might not be, because I mean, there's so many other things that I see that people are not like aware of, or they're obtuse about it. Like if you see discussions on the internet, they're very obtuse, and it's like, how is it not obvious to you people what's going on? Like the whole Bill Belichick thing, to me, like everybody makes this whole spectacle of Bill Belichick and his girlfriend, and why he's like so, and I'm like, it's very easy to see she's his findom, she's abusing him financially, and he likes it. Like he's in a whole financial domination kink thing, whatever, probably got some humiliation going on, because like they're questioning his behavior, but it's all obtuse, and like, what is it? It's financial domination and humiliation. That's what it is. So then you go and you look at all the BDSM and everything, like all of that is satanic. Look at Lady Gaga. Lady Gaga has been talked about having a thing between her legs for years. Since she came out, okay? Since she came out on the scene. You can't unsee it. Once now your eyes are opened, you can't unsee it. You can't, And usually my gaydar is very good, but considering how they have blurred the lines so much, what does that say? Anyway, that's all I wanted to share, just commentary. I thought that was an excellent video, and yeah. All right, bye. Oh. And then the whole thing, the K-pop stuff. That also, not only just the K-pop, but all the Japanese anime, all that like manga anime stuff like that, that's really twisted stuff. If you notice, that all deals with like spirits and whatever, and then you start getting into like hentai and things like, your mind can really get perverted. That's all I can say. When you start looking at hentai and manga and things like that, it's really like on a next level of crazy, but because it's animated, they can make anything happen. But a lot of trans stuff in the Japanese anime porn. A ton of it. Okay? A ton of it. Now, this 1000% makes sense. K-pop Demon Hunters. Hello, 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 hello. It's all things that I couldn't quite put my finger on, but I knew in some respects. The whole feminization thing, I knew. I just didn't realize how prolific it was. Female to male, male to like, I didn't really realize how much now, but and I'm going to give you another one that I noticed is because I've been paying attention to the whole court case. Now that I see it, I can't unsee it. Again, Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively. Look at his little beady eyes and little head and little stature, and look at her. Okay? All right. Gotta go. Bye.